Angry guy here, and men are happier alone. Guys, if you're enjoying this content, please help get the channel to 100,000 subscribers on our journey to 2 million by subscribing to the channel if you already have it, and liking the video and turning on notifications to never miss another video ever again. Now let's begin. Men are happier alone. This is something that a lot of women just cannot accept, or they refuse to accept it. And a part of this is because of the simps. A lot of simps will basically try to shame men and tell men that if they don't go and reproduce, if they don't have a woman, if they're not doing the reproductive shuffle, then they have no value to humanity and that they have failed at their existence. There was a comment that I looked at and I found it quite intriguing, where this guy pointed out that Nikola Tesla, for example, the amount of value he provided to the world is exceptional. Tesla did not have children. He was never married. We don't even know if he ever had a girlfriend. It doesn't seem that way. And yet, this is a guy who gave us alternating current, among other things. And it's quite amazing what he achieved. He is one of the greatest innovators of, of all time. And yet, there are many people, so specifically the simps, that say that he failed because he did not reproduce. Guys, I want you to see how dangerous the simps actually are. I've said this before, that simps and INCELs are the same person. And INCEL, inkle, is just another form of a simp. These people are of no value to humanity. They are they are zero. When I say zero, I mean absolutely zero value to humanity. We would still be living in caves if it was up to these people, because all they are focused on is, finding a woman that will allow them to be intimate with them. And of course, when these simps have their lives destroyed, then they want to go and find strong men to comfort them. It's amazing. It's so amazing, because I say this constantly. Smart men are men who learn from their mistakes. Wise men are the men who learn from the mistakes of others. It, it, when I was growing up, there were no resources. I had like one friend who used to sleep around, and this is the main source of knowledge. He was the only source of information for me. you know I mean, I had other friends, other Gen X friends, but a lot of these guys, you wouldn't really want to take not and from you wouldn't want to learn from these guys, because they weren't living the best of lives. Like, so these guys, they could have ended up with the dragon. And yeah, but I only had like one guy who had some red pill information, and that was it. Before the internet, we didn't have this, unless you had an older man to teach you about women, and he wasn't a simp. Because there's a lot of simps that try to like mess up the minds of young men. And even this guy could be a simp. He definitely had some simp in him, but I was able to decipher some good details about women from him. But before that, we didn't have anything. I mean, before the internet, we really had very little. And you didn't know these things about women. You didn't have this knowledge. You'd have to go and buy a book from some guy named Ross Jeffries, and even then, getting access to that book would be very, very hard. I was born in 1983, so you go back to 2000, the early 2000s, like, you'd have to go and find a book. And Amazon existed, but guys, you have to understand, back then, we still had dial up in those days. DSL kind of sucked. Direct service link, that was basically getting the internet through the through your phone line. There were all kinds of repercussions doing it that way, and DSL kind of sucked. DSL kind of sucked. Everyone wanted cable, and DSL could constantly go down. It wasn't 56K, but it was still connecting to the internet through your phone provider. So it was these those were hard days. Those were hard days. The internet just wasn't as structured. There was no YouTube. I mean, to get red pill knowledge, you really had to know someone who knew someone who knew someone. And then there were these online communities. This is going back to like to the 20 to the pre 2010s, or or even right around the 2010s. And at that point you had the PUA community starting to manifest a bit more online, and you had forums, and even then you had a bunch of freaking simps. It wasn't until we had the red pill community on YouTube with guys like Barbarossa popping up that you really started to have more of this knowledge, getting out there. I was one of the first red pill content creators on YouTube, specifically in the MGTOW sphere. I helped to establish that community. I'm one of the originals, one of the OGs, and it's just crazy. Like, so many men take it for granted. Like, honestly, if you're going out there in today's day and age and you're getting someone pregnant in Western society, and then then your life is destroyed in in family court, you know what? I don't feel sorry for you. If you came across this content, a lot of these same men that and some of y'all are listening, some of y'all, you know who you are. Y'all listening to the video right now, you know who you are. You came across this content years ago. You've been listening to this content for quite some time. Some of y'all spoke poorly of us, called us, said terrible things about us, and then you went out there and you got mixed. You messed around. You effed around. How do you put? How does a saying go? Mess around and find out. All right. You messed around. You found out, and now you're crying your eyes up because that's 18 years of child support, and the family court system is having its way with you, and you don't like it, and you're crying and you're in pain, and no one cares about you because you're a man. And it's like you were told not to do these things. Men who are wiser than you, okay, told you not to do these things. Men who learned from experience told you not to do these things, and you went and did it. Okay, go and suffer. Don't come here, don't cry. What I hear, like, when there's a guy who experienced this decades ago, men are not going to tolerate nonsense anymore. Men are not going to tolerate games anymore. Any real man is sick of the BS. Any guy who hasn't learned his lesson by now, I don't feel sorry for him. I understand with guys of the past, like who were married 30 years ago, and they got out after like 24 years. These guys didn't have those resources back then. They basically had to either learn entirely on their own, or that was it. And they learned from experience, or because if they didn't have an older brother or a sibling or a friend, or some older man in the neighborhood to teach them these things, they had no one. They had to learn on their own. But for men today who are still going out there and doing this nonsense, no, I don't feel sorry for you. Like, listen to me. Be a real, like, if you mess up your life, be a real man and control alt delete. Okay. If you're like, be a real man and control alt delete. No one's gonna cry. No one should be crying for you. Like, let's be realistic, guys. Me, of all people, imagine if I went out there knowing everything that I know and giving you guys all of this knowledge. And I've slipped up a number of times, but I went out there and I messed up my life with one of these 304s. None of you would cry for me. Not a single one of you would cry for me. It would literally be like, angry, you've been here given this knowledge, like, how dare you, I'm a human being too, guys. I don't know if you guys understand that I'm a human being. Just because I'm able to teach you these things, I'm teaching you these things because of all the stupid mistakes I've made. This is this is knowledge. This is the stuff I learned from my own mistakes, and now I want you to be wise and take the knowledge and learn from my mistakes. That's wisdom. That's a wise man right there. So guess what? Now you can be smarter than I am, because you're not wise. You should. People want to. Everyone wants to be smart. Be wise. Be wise. Wisdom is what you should be chasing. Learning. Learning from another man's mistakes and then sharing that with other men, so that not only did you not repeat that, other men don't repeat it. But if I went out there like an idiot and rinsed and repeated the same exact terrible things that I'm telling y'all not to do, no one would be crying for me. No one would be crying for me, because I knew better. I 100% knew better. And a lot of men that are, these foolish guys, some of these guys just, they can't change. They just can't change. They don't belong amongst us. They belong, they need to control alt delete. They need to control alt delete. But in terms of a man and his peace, most men are happier alone. Most men are happier by themselves. They don't need anyone to be happy. We've been conditioned by television and society to believe that you need a woman to be happy. This is a lie. Oh, because guys, it's fear. We live in a fear-based society. Oh, if you don't have a woman, you're going to be miserable when you get older. Oh, if you don't have a woman, how are you going to take care of yourself? Who's going to rub your back for you? Who's going to cook and clean for you? Who's going to be there if you? What if you start choking? What if you choke on something? Who's going to be there to do this for you? Whatever. To be honest with you, it's women themselves who need a man to be there to provide for them and protect them. Men, as men know, realize a lot of older guys who are now in their 60s and 70s will tell you right off the bat they're happy by themselves. As men, we're always going to have to take care of ourselves. All right. Oh well, what you gonna do when you get old? So that's why you need to put money aside. That's why you have to set your life up so that you can have you have a roof over your head and everything else. This is the reason why you have to have your stuff together. Expecting a woman to be there to sort out financial things for you and to do, guys, these women who can't take care of them, these take care of themselves, and the way that they behave in Western society, you think they're going to be there? They're not grandma. They don't have the capacity for these things. They are for the streets. Guys, if you're enjoying this content, help get this channel to 100,000 subscribers by subscribing to the channel if you already haven't, liking the video, and turning on notifications to never miss another video ever again. Men are happier alone. I want to know your thoughts on this. Let's talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA Men walking away. And cheers.